And on another episode of Willis's 93 Camaro with the 5.3 swap. Willis bought a rear end. What's the details on that rear end, Willis?
410 gears, Richmond gears, got a Yukon Posi unit, the one that's got the gears, not the clutches. Got all new bearings, all new seals. Supposed to be good to go.
Yeah, for what, 285 bucks or what?
$250.
You can't beat that. I mean,
got a $150 aluminum cover.
Yeah.
Come with it too, or 120 to 150.
I mean, it's still a 7.5 10 bolt, but yeah, pretty good deal. That little 5.3 making probably 350 wheel ain't gonna hurt that rear end, I don't think. There's a cover he was talking about. Yes, yes. Let's do a rear end today. We got these, well, those were Harbor Freight dollies, and they broke. The wood broke on them, so I used 2x4 and made new ones with the wheels. They came on. Those are, I don't know where Willis got those. Those are the nice
I got them on Amazon. I use them when I had my boat, so I could scoop my boat over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, put 2 on the boat wheels. There you go. And then, well, that's still the Harbor Freight dolly that didn't break on this end. And then he's got these metal Amazon ones that work pretty good. But yeah, on this concrete floor, you can just push the car anywhere you want to. Just push it around. But we're taking the wheels off, and then we're going to take this rear end out. All right, we got the wheels off over. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the shock off.
Maybe.
If you can find a socket to fit it, there's one bolt in there. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. And then we'll take the sway bar loose up here. One bolt right there. Usually them shafts break, so because the nut gets rusted on there, you got to turn that. That's one big long bolt up through there. I don't know if you can see the bottom of it or not. Let me see if I can get down there better. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, see there? One big long bolt up through there. And then the shock, the bolt right there. And somebody, well, the drive shaft's already out of it. But we're not going to take the torque arm off until we get it out. We're just going to slide the torque arm out of the, well, I was going to say out of the transmission. This is not, I forgot there ain't even a transmission in this thing. So we don't have to worry about that. So shock, sway bar, and then lower control arm. And then normally we'd have to do the drive shaft, but there's no transmission or nothing in it. And then we have to do the brake line, and then the emergency brake. We have to undo the emergency brakes too. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen one of these with the emergency brake still on it. Oh, the ones I get there. But yeah, this car is solid, dude. It's more solid than mine. Look, because my car, it's the rear. Floor pans are rusted out of it a little bit. Other than that, mine's really solid. But yeah, this one's pretty solid. The rear end's rusted the most than anything. But I know these nuts and bolts are going to fight us. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, sway bar. We're going to do shock first, sway bar, emergency brakes, brake line, and lower control arm bolts. That should come right out. But Willis is struggling with that sway bar because it is kind of stuck on there. And, but now we didn't really have to take it apart, take it off from there. You can take it off right here too.
We take it off our week.
But we're gonna have to take it off there regardless to put it on the other rear end. But look, we're gonna have a hard time taking those off. We just figure get it out and it'll work a lot better. But yeah, I'm gonna work on this shock while he's doing that. All right, driver's side shock out. Plus, if you take the sway bar out where we're taking it off, if you take it off from here, it just drops down, you know, and it can still get in the way. Whereas if we take it off where we're taking it off at, it'll all come out together and it won't get in our way. All right, Willis got the sway bar off on that side. He's working on that side, and I got the passenger side and driver's side. Shock is out. Now, I guess I'll do the emergency brake lines. So Willis got his sway bar off, or yeah, sway bar. And we took the brakes off. I'll look at it on this side. So yeah, we just took the brakes off with those 2 bolts that go right there and there. There and there. But I think we're going to try to take all the brakes and lines loose from the rear end and try to keep those underneath the car. So all we got to do is unbolt where they mount to there, and there's another one at the very top, I'm pretty sure. But it's just hard to get these emergency brake lines and everything off. So instead of taking it all off, we'll just try to leave it all under the car. I don't know how good that's going to work or not, but we'll see. But we got to do these lower control arms. There's a big bolt that goes through right there. We're going to try to take those off and take all the brake lines off. I don't know, it might. Getting the emergency brake lines off is the hard part. We'll see. All right, so we're going to try to keep the brake line underneath the car. So we unbolted it right there. Oop, hornet's nest, hornet's nest, hornet's nest. And then we prime these clips up. And then there's one bolt that holds these little brackets on where the rubber line goes from the caliper up to here. So we're going to take both of those out. We're going to try to keep the brake lines underneath the car. And the emergency brake lines and everything, we're going to try to wiggle that around the rear end as we take it out. But we still got to, and you have to undo your panhard bar. Most people usually undo them from right here, but for some reason somebody had already undone it off the body, but it's still stuck on the body over there. So we have to take the panhard bar loose right there, and both lower control arms. And then, you know, the drive shaft ain't in it, but if the drive shaft was in it, you'd have to take that out, obviously. And then as far as the torque arm goes, you can just pull that in and out of the back of the bracket on the transmission. It'll pull right out of it, and that's what we would have done. Had a transmission been in it, but there's not a transmission in it, so we don't have to worry about that right now.
Right. It's turning.
All right, so Willis is taking the panhard bar off.
What'd I do with that?
We got a
Big sucker right here.
big bolt that goes through there.
We're gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to hold that for him. All right, panhard bar out. Ta-da! And when we lower the rear end, we'll put that over the top. Oh, we'll go ahead and just put it over the top. There we go.
Have we got all the brake line stuff loose?
Well, we need to do the lower control arm brackets, and then once we get those, then I'll lower the rear end, and you can kind of take the brake lines and kind of put them up and over and through there. But yeah, lower control arm brackets, and then I'll lower the rear end down, and as I lower it down, we just got to make sure the metal lines don't kink. I mean, you can bend them. You just can't let them bend enough to kink, because
you could actually lift that up right now and get it loose from that. Would be better.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's got it loose from there, so it's kind of wanting to kink there, but we'll just take all this as I lower the rear end on both sides. And I lower the rear end, we got all this off, it'll go up and over. And then when I slide the other rear end in, we'll do the same thing. That way we don't have to fool with undoing all these lines. You undo all these lines, especially up there on that block. They don't like to go back together. They like to strip out. And then you have to reblade the brakes. And if all the brake fluid drains out of the master cylinder, that's a pain in the butt. Gotta. It'll just be easier this way. All right, both lower control arm brackets are off. I'm gonna lower it down, and Willis is gonna flip the brakes over top of it.
Hold on just a second.
I think we're getting hung up in that sway bar.
It will, but it'll still go down. The jack is getting stuck under the sway bar. I can go down more. You want me to go down more?
Well, hold on a second. I need to.
All right, we lowered it down a little bit. Got the brake lines out of the way. Put these up here, so we should be able to lower it down the rest of the way, pull this back, and put all the brake lines over there without kinking or hurting them. So change of plans. Willis had a good idea. There's these little holes across here. We put some wire, wired the brakes up out of the way, so we don't have to worry about the brakes getting caught on anything and kinking the line. Everything looks good. And ta-da! Pulled her right out of there. Sweet, that worked out pretty good. Now we gotta take the sway bar, torque arm, and the brake backing plates and put them on this one. Yeah. And we gotta take the axles out to get the backing plates off. The brake backing plates. This big piece here. So we'll have to take the rear end cover off, drain the fluid, take the pin out, push them in, take the C-clips out. We'll go over that. All right, we're gonna take the torque arm off first. These two bolts right here, two nuts and two really long bolts. We'll go ahead and pop those off. And when your springs fall out, sometimes these will fall out. They go up inside the car. We're just sitting here and all of a sudden it just rolls over here all by itself. That's kind of crazy, weird. All right, torque arm is off. Now we're going to take the sway bar off.
If we find a 13 socket, we will.
You need a deep well 13. Willis got that old 70s Pontiac. He ain't got no metric tools. No. When they start going metric, what was it, 80? 1980?
Yeah, 80.
I think it was around 80. Because I think Christopher's Trans Am, I think it's a mix of metric and standard. It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah. So believe it or not, guys, guess what the hardest part of this was? Dun, 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 dun. The rim was, the wheel was stuck on the rotor. Right in that hole. That was the hardest part, getting this wheel off. We beat and beat and beat and beat on it. And the second probably hardest part was one of the sway bar bolts, the long ones. Usually they're so rusted, they break, and you usually have to go get another bolt. But I think Willis bent this one, so he will have to get another bolt. They sell sway bar end link kits on eBay. They're not that much. They got the new bar, the new shaft. I don't know why I'm looking at that. I don't even know what he did with the sway bar. Oh, here they are. So you got two rubber pieces, a middle piece, and then two rubber pieces and a bolt. And they sell that as a kit online for pretty cheap. And Willis has got the sway bar off. Now we got to take the U-bolts and everything off of that. And now we got to take the brake backing plates off, which we'll take these 4 bolts out on those. Then we're going to have to crack open the rear end and take the pin out. I'll show you that in a minute. We're going to have to push these in, take the C-clips out, pull the axles out just to get those off. All right, we got the rear end cover off. Now we're going to take this small little bolt. It's like an 8mm. We take that bolt out and it holds that pin in. Take the bolt out and then we're going to pull that pin out. All right, the bolt's out. And we're going to rotate it around a little and push it from one side. There's a certain side it likes to come out better. So you got to kind of figure out which side it likes to come out better. And pull it out the other. But yeah, usually have to get a hold of it with some vice grips. Just don't scar it up any, because you'll never get it back in if you do. But that pin, I don't know what it's made out of, but that is really, really, really strong metal that those pins are made out of. There we go. Now, we'll spin it around to where we can see up inside here, like that right there. And then he's gonna get a magnet, I guess, but I'm gonna push the axles in as far as they'll go. Oh. And then there's a little C-clip in there. And pull that clip out. And Willis always misplaces his tools.
My tools.
Shouldn't he pushed in more?
Probably.
We'll go in a little bit more.
Yeah, push in as far as it'll go. I just think that turned right, I guess. Oh, right there.
There it comes. All right,
See a
now,
picture of it?
now this axle right here, it sets it down in a groove. See, now this axle will come out. It's like right there. Then we'll do the other side, take it out, and then we'll do them 4 bolts, take them back in place. And with that magnet, sometimes you have to spin the C-clip part, you know, in a manner that you can pull it out. Because if it's, you know, if the opening ends up there, you're not going to pull it out this hole. You got to take the magnet and kind of spin it around and pull it out that way. All right, we're about to get the last bolt out of this side brake back in plate. Just remember how these go on, because you got to put them on the same way. They'll you know, they'll go this way.
Yeah.
Towards that way, but we'll probably have to knock it off there with a hammer or something. Hit it with your purse. Ta-da! Now we gotta do that side. All right, we're gonna stick the axles back in, drop the C-clips in it, and then put the pin and the bolt in, put the cover back on it. Anybody need to buy a rear end? It's a stock rear end. I believe it, I don't know, let's check what gears it's got in it. When we get the axles in it, we'll spin the axle 1 full revolution. However many times that yoke spins, that's what gears are in it. All right, push the axles all the way in, and then see that groove. Then we'll drop the C-clips right on top of those, right in the groove there. Willis can find the C-clips.
All right. I know where they're at.
And we'll just drop those. Yeah, give me the magnet. I dropped that one right in between them. Magnet always makes this easier.
What side are you trying to put in?
Son, I'll stick it in either side it'll go in.
Nope. Don't matter.
There we go. Now once you get it in there and all the way in, then shove the axle out and it'll hold up inside that hole there. But usually I can get these in without the magnet. There we go. Slide it out. Just like that. Then we're going to stick that big pin back through here. Being mindful of the hole that's in the pin. We got to remember, we got to line that hole up. We're definitely going to wipe it off. But that hole has to go. That hole has to line up with this hole right here. So we're going to wipe it off real good, and we're going to stick it through there, and we're going to try to line that hole up best we can. All right, usually what I like to do, see this pin screws in right there with them threads right in that hole. But what I like to do to make sure I'm straight is I'll beat it down. I'll push it down with the bolt in it until I can't, you know, make sure I can still get the bolt out. And make sure we get it as straight as we can. Then push it down flush. Then that bolt should go in there. And sometimes you got to get the rear end just the right spot to get that bolt to go in there. And there we go. And ta-da! Seeing all that pin does is hold them axles from being able to slide in and out. So the pins don't fall out. See now them axles can't come in and out. And then that hole holds the little C-clips. But anyway, we'll tighten that up and put the cover back on. And anybody want to, oh yeah, we're just going to count this, wasn't we? So if we spin this axle one full revolution, spin that axle one full revolution, we're going to count how many times this turns.
Get it on the top. Ready?
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 3 3.25.
Huh?
So 323 gears. And this was an automatic. It came with 323
no,
gears.
6-speed.
Oh, it was a 6-speed. So there
Six-speed.
you go. That's why the 6-speeds usually come with 323s or 342s. So this one's got 323s in it. So if anybody
Tell me for sale, $150.
$150, 323 F-body rear end. All right, we got the brake backing plates on. The rear end is just like it'd go in the car. So the brake backing plates go that way. They go on the back. Now we're putting the C-clamps on for the sway bar. All right, it straddles this little piece down here. I don't know if you can see it better over here, but there's a little tab down there that straddles. So we went ahead and put her in and tighten her down and make sure that hoop part is like will go under the rear end when you move it back and forth. Because we almost put it in upside down. Yeah, so when you move this up and down, that bar should be able to go underneath the rear end. You'll know real quick if it's not right side up. So we're going to go ahead and put the torque arm on, tighten it down. Throw it up to the top. Alright, we put the cover on her.
Feel it in my finger.
Put the seals in, the axles. Now we're just filling up the rear end. We put 2 quarts in it. I can see it right there. See, look. See it in the camera? It ain't all the way up to the hole, but it's close. See? You can see the shininess. That's the fluid. I like to use an Allen wrench. You got an Allen wrench? So I stick an Allen wrench in there like that. Go down. Then back out.
Can touch it too.
And then I knew we should have got 3 of those. Nope. It needs more. I like to get it up even with the hole. So like we stick that Allen wrench in there. Nothing.
Really bad job putting it in.
The actual fill hole is over here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. So that's the one that it's got to be up to the bottom of. This one's actually way higher, and we've got it the fluid to about right there. So we're going to call that good and throw her back under there. All right, my battery's about dead on my phone. That's why the light ain't coming on. We're going to have to end it here. Yeah, we're just going to put it back in the reverse order we took it out. We put it in there. We put the lower control arms in first. Then we put the brakes back on it. And after that, we'll put the springs in it and jack it up. And then we'll put the shocks on it. And then the lower panhard bar, we can just put that in anytime. But we're going to end it. I'm at 4%. Battery's about to shut off on the phone. I don't have a charger near me. So y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.